Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today for this virtual health education program. Today we are talking about superfoods. Typically we do this in person in one of our community rooms or activity centers, but we hope you find this virtual experience just as helpful. First, I will be playing our program and then I will be back at the end for our live question and answer session. Let's get started.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me today. My name is Alyssa Gailey and I am a registered dietitian. And today I am going to be presenting this webinar on superfoods and what they are and their health benefits. And I will also give you a few tips and tricks as we go along. I'm really excited to present this just because superfoods have been in the news a lot in the last 5 years, and I think everyone's a little curious as to what are superfoods and how can they impact my health. So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk specifically about 10 different foods that I consider superfoods and how they can impact our health and well-being. So let's get started. Today, you are going to learn what superfoods are, and then we're going to also talk about antioxidants because antioxidants have a lot to do with what a superfood is. And then we're going to go over 10 different superfoods and we'll talk about the health benefits of those items. So our first order of business is, what are superfoods? So on a simple level, a superfood is a food that is thought to be nutritious and good for one's health. The Oxford Dictionary defines a superfood as a nutrient-rich food considered to be especially beneficial for health and well-being. There are tons of foods that have been labeled as superfoods, and many of them are derived from fruits and vegetables. It is important to understand that the term superfood has no concrete definition, and there are not standard requirements in place for a food to be considered a superfood. This means the word superfood is not regulated by any governing body, and it doesn't really mean anything scientifically. Superfoods are usually rich in antioxidants, which we are going to learn more about. So, as I said, superfoods really don't have a concrete definition. And so we are looking at superfoods more of as what health benefits do they have? Do they have antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals? Are they really good for our health? And that's why a lot of them do come from fruits and vegetables. So, but a lot of them do contain antioxidants. So let's talk about that. Now, antioxidants, according to the National Library of Medicine, are vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that protect and repair cells from damage caused by free radicals. Free radicals can cause damage to our cells if they are not neutralized by antioxidants. So examples of antioxidants include beta-carotene, lutein, lycopene, selenium, and vitamins A, C, and E. So now we're going to talk about 10 different foods that have a lot of these antioxidants in them, which is why we are considering them superfoods. Now our first up, we have blueberries. Blueberries pack a lot of nutrients into a small package. According to the Mayo Clinic, they're loaded with antioxidants that may help prevent disease. They are high in vitamin C, low in calories, and high in fiber, and they help control blood sugar and keep you full longer. And they're great for satisfying a craving for something sweet. All berries can add flavor and nutrition to numerous dishes, from salads and cereals to baked goods and yogurt. If you don't like to eat them plain, there are plenty of ways to dress them up. Cover them in yogurt for a tasty parfait packed with calcium. Plus, you can put them in a blender and make yourself a super shake full of superfoods. Now, blueberries are a great superfood, but berries in general just have a lot of antioxidants in them. And I want to take this time to remind you that fresh or frozen berries, really nutritionally, there's not a lot of difference. We just want to make sure that we're getting them in. So if we buy them frozen, we want to make sure it's just the fruit and it doesn't have any sauces or anything on it. If we're buying them fresh, that's great too. You can also buy them canned. If you do buy them canned, again, wanting to make sure that it's canned in water or 100% fruit juice. We don't want anything that has, that really syrupy, sugary, that just adds a lot of calories and a lot of sugar that we don't need. So that's the one thing that I like people to keep in mind when they're buying fruits and vegetables. But berries in general, throw them in a salad. I love them in salad in the summer. Throw the frozen ones in a smoothie. Now, if you do buy them fresh and they're about to go bad, they're not quite yet like moldy or anything, they're just not the greatest for eating, you can always throw them in a baggie and throw them in the freezer so that you're not wasting as much food, and that can help your food dollars stretch a little bit more instead of throwing that away. Now, let's see what our next superfood is. We've got sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are one of the best sources of vitamin A available. A large one contains more than 100% of the daily recommended intake according to the USDA. Vitamin A promotes good vision and has anti-aging benefits. According to the National Library of Medicine, they also contain helpful minerals like potassium and magnesium, which is according to the Cleveland Clinic. They taste great when they're baked, but before you add butter or sugar, be sure to taste the sweetness that develops when a sweet potato is cooked. And think of all the calories you can save over that loaded baked potato. You can also put sweet potatoes in other foods to add variety. They can even be substituted for pureed pumpkin in breads, cakes, and muffins. Always try to eat the sweet potato with the skin on to get the maximum amount of fiber and nutrients. Fiber is found in the skin and the gut of the potato. The skin contains insoluble fiber, which helps provide roughage, and the gut contains soluble fiber, which slows digestion and helps manage weight. Other dark orange vegetable standouts include pumpkin, carrots, butternut squash, and orange bell peppers. So, I don't know if anyone else's mom always told them, like, eat your carrots, they're good for your eyes, which is true. But really, it's anything that's of that orange color. It has those vitamins and minerals that are so good for our eyes. And, this is going to be a common theme occurring throughout this presentation is eating the skin of fruits and vegetables. A lot of that fiber and nutrients are in the skin or right underneath it. So that's why I'm always going to encourage you to eat the skin if you can. Now our next superfood, broccoli. Broccoli is one of America's favorite vegetables because it tastes good and is available all year long. According to the USDA, broccoli contains more nutrients than any other vegetable. It's a rich source of vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, calcium, and iron, and it has plenty of fiber to fill you up. Plus, it's loaded with antioxidants, which may help protect against disease. It is also low fat, saturated fat free, low sodium, and cholesterol free. It can be eaten raw, lightly steamed, stir fried, roasted, or grilled. Eat it as a side dish or toss into grains, egg dishes, soups, and salads. Also, this yummy veggie is worth 12 points when playing Scrabble. Another fun fact is that the average American eats 4.5 pounds of broccoli each year. Now, when I was a kid growing up, we called broccoli green trees, and then our cauliflower was our snow-covered trees. So I don't know if any of you have grandkids that you're trying to get to eat healthier, but giving them a fun name is always a good way to get kids to eat some yummy fruits and vegetables. I think broccoli is just one of those foods that it's so good, and the USDA says it has more nutrients than any other vegetable, which is just amazing. So I think that's what makes it a superfood. Now, next we had salmon, and you had to know that we all have heard, how healthy salmon or, fatty fishes in general. So you had to know you weren't going to get through this presentation without me talking about salmon. So fatty fish like salmon contains heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA, which the human body can't produce on its own. According to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health page, omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation throughout the body and keep your blood vessels in tip-top shape, which is why I love salmon for its heart-healthy benefits. Salmon is also low in calories. It's about 200 calories for 3 ounces, and it has a lot of protein. You can grill or bake it, top it with salsa or other low-fat sauces, or serve it on top of a salad. The Mayo Clinic recommends eating at least 2 servings of omega-3 rich fish per week. One serving is about 3.5 ounces or 99 grams, which is also about the size of a deck of cards. Other fish sources that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids include trout, herring, sardines, and tuna. Now, these fatty acids are so heart healthy. Other foods that contain these same heart healthy fatty acids are avocados, olive oils, and nuts. And nuts we're going to talk about in a little bit. So we want to make sure that we're trying to, again, get 2 servings of fatty fish per week. Another way you could get this is with like a canned tuna or canned salmon, but just make sure that you are buying it canned in water and not oil to save a lot of calories. And overall, salmon is just such a heart healthy food. I just love it, and that's what makes it a superfood. Now, next we have beans. According to the USDA, beans are loaded with fiber. They're also a good low-fat source of protein and other nutrients like iron and zinc. Beans can easily substitute for meat or poultry as the centerpiece of a meal, but they also work as a side dish or tossed into soups, stews, or egg dishes. Beans come in a wide variety of shapes, colors, and sizes. Be careful of canned beans. They are still high in nutrients, but typically have a lot of salt added. Rinsing can help, but they still will contain some sodium. You can also purchase no salt added versions. So beans are one of those things that I always try and keep a couple different kinds of canned beans on hand. They are great for just throwing into dishes. I throw them into a lot of my Mexican dishes. I'll throw them into a lot of different soups if I can. And I think they're just overall a great source of protein. I will also use them to stretch my food dollar a little bit. So you can maybe use half the amount of meat that you would normally use, and then use beans to stretch that meat and make it go a little bit further. When you do use beans, like I said, try and get the cans that are no salt added. Those are usually about the same price as the regular, but if you can't find the no salt added, you can always just rinse them. That will get about 80% of that sodium out of there. So that's better than nothing. And you could also buy dried beans and rehydrate them. That would be another good option there. And that's a really cost-effective way to eat beans as well. All right. Next, we have spinach. Now, believe it or not, Popeye was onto something when he attributed his strength to spinach. According to Colorado State University Extension, spinach is loaded with nutrients like iron, zinc, calcium, and magnesium, and it has vitamins A and C. Plus, it's low in calories. 2 cups raw chopped spinach contains about 13 calories. Colorado State University Extension says that spinach also contains powerful antioxidants and that it may even help to slow down the aging process, which I'm all for that. Spinach is a perfect base for salads and can easily be added to smoothies as well. Now, I love spinach. I feel like sometimes it gets a little bit of a bad rap because, people either really like it or they don't. I add spinach to a lot of different pasta dishes. If I'm trying to add lots more veggies, you can add it to smoothies and it really doesn't change the flavor. It just, again, makes you eat some more vegetables. Now, another dark green leafy vegetable that goes along with spinach that sometimes gets a bad rap is kale. And I feel like you either love or hate kale. If you love it, you've probably had it prepared well. If you hate it, it's probably just not prepared the way you should prepare it. So a tip I have is to take the little pieces off of the big stem and then massage it. So literally rubbing the kale, that gets rid of some of that bitter flavor, which is probably what you don't like about kale. And then throw all your salad toppings on it. And giving that a try might help you get to like kale and get to like these really great dark leafy green vegetables that are so good for us. Alrighty. Next we've got apples. So we can't forget the fruit that so many associate with good health. You know the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. According to the USDA, apples contain antioxidants that may help protect the cardiovascular system. They also have dietary fiber and vitamin C. But you'll want to eat the peel to get the most bang for your buck. The peel has the most fiber and almost half of the vitamin C is found just beneath the peel. Apples make for a great low-calorie snack on the go. One raw apple has less than 100 calories. You can eat them whole or sliced, spread some nut butter on them for some healthy fats, or add them to a salad. Now, I absolutely love apples. I think they're such a great snack. They're great on our last superfood spinach as a salad. Again, I mentioned the peel. So just like I mentioned eating the skin of the potato, trying to eat the skin of the apple is where you're going to get a lot of those benefits. And hey, maybe that saying is true after all. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Who knows, but I'm willing to give it a try. So apples really are the quintessential, probably first ever superfood that we ever thought of, because somebody back then knew what they were talking about when they said that saying. So again, love apples and great superfood. Now let's talk about nuts. All right, nuts sometimes get a bad rap because of their high fat content, but they have many benefits. They're rich in heart-healthy, unsaturated fats and omega-3 fatty acids, as well as fiber and vitamin E. The key to enjoying nuts is portion control. Just 1 ounce is considered 1 serving. There are a wide variety of nuts to choose from, each offering unique benefits. Nuts add texture and flavor to salads, side dishes, baked goods, cereals, and entrees. And they taste great alone too. So the key to enjoying them is that 1 ounce serving. So a 1 ounce serving is about a small handful. So if you cup your hand really tightly, that small handful is about 1 ounce. So it's not too much, but that is because nuts are higher in calories, but they're those good calories, those heart healthy fats. So we still want to try and get them in. And if you are adding nuts, try and make sure that they are the unsalted kind, because they can add salt very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're looking for those unsalted options in your nuts. Now, I add them to parfaits. I will add them to oatmeal. Another thing I really like right now is sliced almonds with green beans and roasted in the oven. So delicious. So really having them as a snack or adding them into foods is always a great idea, because you're going to get those heart healthy benefits. Just watch out for that serving size. Now we've got kiwi. Kiwis are very nutritionally dense fruits. According to the Produce for Better Health Foundation, they are loaded with vitamin C and also a good source of potassium and vitamin E. It's also high in fiber, low fat, and sodium free. They can be eaten with or without the skin, but again, the skin does contain beneficial fiber. You can also add kiwi to smoothies or use it to create a zesty salsa, which sounds so good, with mangoes, peppers, honey, lime juice, and cilantro. Yum. So I feel like kiwi is one of those fruits that we don't think of that often. You know, we think of apples, bananas, oranges, but kiwi is such a great fruit in such a little package. It has so much nutrients and it's really beneficial. Again, trying to keep that skin on if we can, but just really adding kiwi to lots of different dishes can be a really great way to add in some extra nutrition. Now, I really do want to try that kiwi salsa. It sounds so good. Kiwi, mango, peppers, honey, lime juice, and cilantro. Oh, I bet that's delicious. It'd probably be really good on fish too. All right. Our last superfood, we're talking about quinoa here. Quinoa is a very nutritious type of grain. According to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, quinoa is a complete protein and it's a gluten-free whole grain. It's also a good source of zinc, iron, and folate. Quinoa is as easy to prepare as rice and can be eaten alone or mixed with vegetables, nuts, or lean protein for a whole grain medley. Try to make at least half your daily grain servings whole grains. In addition to quinoa, try barley, oats, buckwheat, whole wheat, wild rice, and millet. Now, quinoa has become rather popular in the last 5 years, I would say, and it is such a great whole grain. It has a lot of fiber and it does have protein and some other things. So when I'm making quinoa, I make it just like I would rice. Now, one tip I do have for you is that if you do buy quinoa, you want to make sure that you buy it either when it's been pre-washed or rinsed, or you want to make sure that right before you cook it, you rinse it because it does have a bitter outer layer. And so rinsing it gets that outer layer off of there and makes sure that it is tasty. So if you've ever had bad quinoa, that's probably what happened. So I try and buy it pre-washed. You can also buy it frozen and then it's already ready to go. You just have to heat it up. A lot of places are starting to have frozen quinoa. I love quinoa with like salsa, maybe some corn and beans, maybe a little chicken and cheese as like a Mexican little bowl. It really takes on whatever flavors that you give to it. So it's a really good base for a lot of things. Now, when I'm talking about whole grains, I've said that a lot, I feel like, on this slide, and whole grains are really good for us. They have lots of fiber and they add some extra vitamins and minerals that we want to make sure we have in our diet. And so whole grains would be things like quinoa, and then we have oats, whole wheat breads, brown rice. And one way to make sure that we are getting those items as whole grains is to flip over the package and look at the ingredients. We want it to say like whole grain or whole wheat as that first ingredient, and then we know that it really is a whole grain and that we're going to get our nutrition bang out of that. So just something to keep in mind when you are talking about whole grains. Now, just to recap a little bit here, we've talked about 10 different superfoods, and we know that superfoods are not necessarily any definition and that they're just items that are healthy and good for us. And so really, we just want to continue eating them. And we know that they contain antioxidants and that antioxidants can help ward off disease and that they are often in fruits and vegetables. So we talked about blueberries, sweet potatoes, broccoli, salmon, beans, spinach, apples, nuts, kiwi, and quinoa. And so those are all superfoods, but really just adding in lots of healthy foods to your diet can be so good for you. And I want you to keep in mind that, the more healthy foods you have in the diet, the better off you're going to be. I do have some references posted on this page, this next page here. So if you have any questions or you're looking for anything specific, any of the things that I mentioned, you'll find those at these links. So please give those a try. I really, really like the choosemyplate.gov website. They have lots of great ideas for fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. They also have serving size suggestions and how much you should eat for your age. So that might be a good reference for anyone that's curious about how much they should be eating. Another thing you might want to check out is your state's extension website. They usually have really good recipes that will help you stretch your food dollar as well. So that's always a great resource. And don't forget the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. That is a group of dietitians, and they have a lot of great resources on superfoods and how to stock your pantry and all different types of things. So I hope you have enjoyed listening to this presentation, and I hope that you learned something and that you learned a little bit about superfoods or just these 10 foods in general. And I hope that you come back, and I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for listening.
All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed this presentation and that it was helpful and informative for you. Next, we are going to move into our live Q&A session, so be sure to submit your questions and we will make sure we get them answered for you.